Well,
And I,
today we are chatting with veteran actor Jason Flemyng. I am just thrilled to death about this conversation. He has a brand new project which I just watched last night, which is really, really good. And such a talented cast, the Stoic. Mr. Fleming, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you, and good evening to you, I would say for sure.
Good evening, Brett. I'm coming to you live from the jungle on a small island on the Malaysian coast in the middle of the Andaman Sea. So that's quite an interesting thing. And I'm surrounded, if you can see out the window, there's monkeys and hornbills. So that's cool.
And your internet connection is remarkably strong. So,
I'm in a library in the reception, so that's good.
so are you filming another project? Is that where you're at, or are you on holiday?
No, I'm actually here because my twin boys who are 13, are filming Lord of the Flies for the BBC, and I am just the
Oh,
chaperone, which I'm enjoying very much.
oh, well, that gives me something to be excited about. That's very cool. As a sidebar, the BBC always puts out such great programming. There was a show that was out. I don't want to go too far off the deep end, but it was called Silent Witness, which was a
Yeah.
really good show, police drama, but I digress. You have a huge library of work. This film is very good. At this stage of the game, I'm interested to know for yourself, like, what is it you're looking for at this point when you're choosing a project like this? Is it script? Is it cast? Is it location?
So I tell you what, I'll be really honest with you. Um, the truth is, as a film actor, you've always got to try and keep changing your community of filmmakers, right? So obviously, like I'm known for Guy Ritchie's Lock, Stock, Snatch, Matt Vaughn, Layer Cake and X-Men and a million other, Kick-Ass, a million other films. But so I probably made 12 films with those two filmmakers, but quite rightly, they don't owe me anything and they move on, and they become, even though I still am friends with both of them and have been at both guys' weddings, I haven't worked for Guy for 2 decades. So no one owes you anything. You can't think because, like Scorsese, the big guys, Scorsese, Spielberg, all those the big lads, they employ people again and again, but not all the people again and again. So you have to change your community. You have to keep yourself diverse. You have to keep investing in new filmmakers, new film communities. So for me, that's what I've always done. And that's why I'm so prolific because, if you do someone short, then you end up doing their new TV show. And that's the way it is. Not always, but that's the way it is. So with John and Scott, John Ecclesby and Scott Wright, who created this project, Neil Jones, who's a really great friend of mine and the producer, said he's Welsh. And he went, Jason, do me a favor, mate. Come down to Wales for 3 days. We're in a bit of trouble. We could do with someone like you coming down and helping us out. And John's very excited about you. And I was like, of course we will, brother. Absolutely. It's 2 days. That's fine. I think he said 3 days. I said, I'll give you two. So I went down and met these guys. And he was right. They were really good guys. They're really, really creative. And so now I'm part of that community of filmmakers. And now because of the success of the Stoic, they're going to go on to make films between 1.5 and 5 million rather than 50 to $100. They get to step up, and then you become part of that community. And I think that's a really important thing for actors, definitely, to understand. You've got to put out in order to get back.
Yeah, well, it's such a good film, and of course, present company included. The cast is just really fantastic. It's an interesting story. I like it, and really fits in with, the this idea of, adventure, thriller, and all of the different things. Now, you've worked, as you mentioned, with some other great actors, directors in the past. Um, and your children, you mentioned, are filming a project now. So was it a natural progression for them when they see you work and they go with you to set to go, okay, this is something that I want to do and
It's
be a
funny.
part of?
It's funny. There were just before this all started, there was a show called Town Called Malice for Sky, and I was on the side of all the buses on their school route. Right, it's me on the bus on the side of the bus, and they're like, Papa, because we're posh, right? So, Papa, when are you gonna go off the bus? It's so embarrassing. And I'm like, it's not embarrassing. It's cool. And they're like, it's not cool. Just please, well, how long is it going to be before you get off the side of the bus? So they're not really that interested in the business or me as an actor. They hardly ever watch anything I do. I think maybe Stardust is the only thing they've watched through that they quite like. Um, and then
Yes.
when I come on, they go, "Oh God," you know. But the BBC project came about, and I was like, I'm not having my kids be actors. I don't want, you know, it's bad enough with twins, you know, when one runs faster than the other, or one's in the A football team, the other's in the B football team. But when this came up, I was like, I'm not interested. You're not doing it. And they went, but it's to play twins. So it meant either they both got it or neither of them got it. And I thought, yeah, okay, actually that'll work because no one's going to get the prize and the other person not get the prize. So we just said yeah, and then before we knew it, we were here in Malaysia for 5 months, and I've loved it, and it's been great because at last I'm getting something back from my kids.
That is a true statement more than anything else. And the fact of the matter is when this goes out, whenever it airs this year, next year, or however long it takes,
Yeah,
they might wind up on the side of a bus somewhere.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you can say, see, this is,
yeah,
I just think it's cool when it's in the family, so to speak.
yeah. It is
Um,
nice.
and they get to experience the joy you've had making films. I was doing research. When did you get your first job officially? It's been
So
several years.
I did a job with John Schlesinger that Alan Bennett wrote called Question of Attribution, that won the BAFTA, and that was 37 years ago. So I've been at it a while. I'm like 170 movies in. In fact, an interviewer from America the other day went, "Hey, Jace, how does it feel to have made more films than Jeff Bridges?" And I was like, "By the way, Jeff Bridges has never made a bad film. I've made countless bad movies, but I appreciate the sentiment."
I love it. Well, let's talk about The Stoic. It's a very good film. It's got all the elements that you would want or need in an action thriller. For you, let us in a little bit on what audiences can expect from this film when they get a chance to watch.
You know what? It's the sort of because it's not a huge budget movie. You're not going to be inundated with adverts for it so that you end up going to it against your will. You know how there's those films that you suddenly are in the cinema going, why did I come to this? And it's
Yeah.
because your brain has been by the fact that it's on the side of the bus, like the stuff I do. So the Stoic you'll find and you'll trip over. And it'll be one of those things that you trip over probably late at night and go, oh, maybe I'll give that a little go. There's that Jasper Flemage. He's kind of interesting. So you might trip over it at night, and it does not disappoint. You know, it's a really great little action flick. The action, the budget defines the shooting, so the action is short and sweet and concise, but I think is great because of that. You know, there's no big fight sequences that take 3 days, and I think it's the sort of movie you're going to stick on, and when it's over, you're going to go, that was wicked. So I'm really pleased with it, and it's something which I think will be a grower. I think it will spread by word of mouth because there's no other way of doing it because they didn't have the budget to publicize it.
Yeah. Well, I certainly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And
Good.
I
Well,
think
you help.
audience,
You help. You promoting it helps for sure.
yeah, well, I'm a huge fan of your work. And when the opportunity came, I was like, absolutely. Um, Again, just so many different genres of work that you've done. I know you mentioned as an actor who is willing to try new things and do new things, and not necessarily. It's kind of like that idea of, what have you done for me lately, as far as the industry goes. But you've chosen so many eclectic projects. Outside of the Guy Ritchie films that you mentioned, or perhaps maybe Jekyll and Hyde or X-Men, you've been working for decades. Is there one project to you that stands out that goes, man, I wish this was the kind of movie I was able to watch when I was younger, maybe, or something like
I
that?
mean, the truth is, that as acting becomes what you do for a living rather than, wow, I can't believe they're allowing me to do this. When you become like a working actor, course you're still thrilled, but it is your job, and you tend to stop being quite so grateful. But then something like, the Curious Case of Benjamin Button comes along where, every single person at the read through you recognize except for yourself. And every
Hmm.
single head of department has won an Oscar. And, David Fincher's David Fincher. And instead of thinking like, I wish they could all be like this and it's ruining it for me because now I'm on the Stoic and we're eating bourbon biscuits in the cold in Wales. I don't think like that. I think I've ticked that box. I work for the my what I think is the greatest film director in the world. And, lucky to say a mate. And that is it makes you so happy that you managed to tick those boxes and work with those people. And that would be the one project that I've got to say. But after the screening, it was at Fincher's production company. I was crying, and he was like, "You really liked it?" I said, "I'm not crying because I liked it. I'm crying because I'm in it." And that's the truth. It's like all my life, that was it. That was what I wanted to do. And then actors don't get to do that. You've got no right to think you deserve to do that, but I did. And instead of thinking what happened after that, I just think, mate, that was just the best. I just that's box ticked. No frustration. That's great.
Yeah, such great films. I mean, just looking here at all the things that you've done, I mean, I could talk to you for hours, but we have to let you go because you have other interviews. Such a great film, The Stoic.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate you
Absolutely.
backing it.
Absolutely. Fantastic film. And of course, all the other wonderful things that you've done. All the Guy Ritchie films, of course. Jekyll and Hyde is one of my all-time favorites. That was such a fun role
Oh,
to watch you be a
where
part
are you,
of.
mate? Where are you based?
I'm in Colorado.
Okay, mate. Well, give my love to Colorado.
I will. Well, thank you for your time, sir. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.
Take it easy, bro.
You too. Thank you.